Okay, I'll start with what's a song you've been listening to?
Oh, I'd have to think. To be honest, I haven't been listening to a lot of music recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Any reason why, or you're just not like feeling music?
Yeah, I think I go in like different like stages of like music listener and music not.
Yeah.
I really do like Billie Eilish's song that came out with the Barbie music.
Yeah.
It's really sad,
It
but
is
it's
sad.
like the melody of it is like really nice. And I sometimes, if I'm in my feels or if I need to listen to something that's like emotional, I'll listen to that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the like TikTok lady who like sings it in a funny way?
No.
Okay, I'll have to send it. She like sang it but kind of wrong, and everyone started singing it.
That way.
Yeah.
We love that. Wait, can I find the name of the
Yes.
song? What was I made
What
for?
was I made for?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What did you think of the Barbie movie?
It was super hyped up and I wasn't like quite sure what to expect, whether it'd be good or bad, but I really, really liked it.
I did too.
Yeah, I think the ending a little bit was rushed a little bit, but I thought it was like super sweet and emotional, and like I love the mother-daughter relationship, and like it was really heartfelt.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's some words you live by, or a piece of advice that stuck with you?
Um, okay, so something that I really like, and I may not say this perfectly, but you know the phrase, it's like, it's not the journey, it's the climb. So I like that phrase, but I like the twist of it. It's like also the people you bring along. And so something that I value a lot in my life is like the relationships that I build and the people that as I move through life and have experiences, the people who I bring along with me. So I think that's something that's very important. No matter what you do, I think as long as you have people who are supporting you and like people who you can like endeavor through if it's a hard experience or whatever, as long as you have people with you, like you can get through it.
That's so sweet. Would you say, are you more extroverted or?
Yeah, I think it depends. I think naturally I am more extroverted, but I do feel recharged when I have like time by myself as well. Like I could really enjoy like a full day like at home, you know, just hanging out by myself, like doing what I want to do, but I typically lean more extroverted for sure.
Okay, what are some things that you love?
I love my friends and my family. I love playing volleyball. That's something that I grew up playing volleyball, and of course growing up any sort of like intense sport can come with some emotions or trauma or whatever, but now that I'm older and I'm settled, like it is truly a sport that I love and I love to play, and it also is an opportunity to bring me and my friends together. So that's something that I've been loving a lot recently. Another thing that I love hobby-wise is pottery.
I've always wanted to try.
Yeah. So I haven't had an opportunity to do it recently. I'm like looking for some classes at a studio nearby. But like all growing up and in college a little bit too, I really like doing pottery because I feel like I lean artistic, but I don't have the patience to sit down and like paint or draw something that takes a long time.
Yeah.
And so with pottery, like if you're spinning on the wheel, like it's like very freeing and artistic. You can do whatever you want, and it doesn't take too long to like make the piece itself. So if you mess up or you need to redo it, like it's easy to do that. And it's just very hands-on, so it's very peaceful and calming to me. Something that I've always liked. So.
Cool. So when did you first do pottery?
I think my mom put me in like a summer camp when I was like in 6th grade or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I started that, and like that it was just camp or whatever, but in high school I started taking classes and like going and like doing pottery like more frequently.
Yeah.
It's nothing, I've never like really dedicated like full on to it, but it's something that I like to keep as like a pastime, you know, a casual thing that I enjoy and not put too much pressure on, like, you know, like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what would you say your skill level is?
I'm definitely still like, I'm not a beginner, like I know what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm not like the most amazing, let's say, but like that's not like why I'm in it. Like I love making like beautiful pieces and all that sort of stuff, but it's also for like the calming, fun nature of it.
So when you are like doing pottery, you feel like you can like relax?
Yes, for sure, for sure. You can like definitely focus on the piece, and it's a way to like exercise your like artistic bones. And yeah, it's truly just for like the joy of it. I try not to worry about like making like a perfectly centered piece or whatever. So yeah.
Would you say, are you like more of a tranquil, relaxed person, or like are you stressed out a lot and you like need stuff to calm down?
I think it depends on like the stage in life that I am. I think typically I try to be a happy, positive person, like more glass half full than glass half empty. Like I guess from what my friends have described me as. But I definitely like get stressed out like in different stages if I'm like very busy, or if the work or school that I'm doing is like very busy. I think a pattern that I've had in my life is sometimes I over book myself, and so that's when I get stressed. Yeah. But
I will say I agree with your friends, because you've always come across as very like friendly and like positive and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way about yourself, or like are you surprised to hear that?
I think I try to come off as friendly and positive, and yeah, I think that's how I feel about myself. I mean, nobody's perfect. Like I want to be friendly to like everyone around me, but like of course, like, you know, who knows what's going on in my day or what's happening. So yeah, I tried to keep a positive outlook on things, and if the execution is not always there, like it's okay, but yeah.
Would you say you're naturally just like that, like you've always been like that?
I think so. There's like, yeah, I feel like I've been like that. Yeah.
Like, are you more optimistic, would you say, about things?
Yeah, I think I tend to be optimistic, not about everything. Obviously, like, everyone worries, everyone, you know, that sort of stuff. But I try to, like, look at things optimistically, because if you don't, then you can often spiral easily, or, you know, it's hard, so.
No, that's really good, because I've always been kind of more pessimistic naturally, and I don't like that. Like, I don't want to be that way, but I'll always think like of the worst. So I really admire people who like can be very optimistic all the time. Like my boyfriend is like that, and he always tells me, he's like, I need to turn you into an optimist. So.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm 100% through and through optimist, but like that's definitely something that I try to keep in mind when I approach like any sort of decision or conflict in my life. So
that's good.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite piece you've ever made, like pottery?
Pottery piece? I guess it was this pot that I rakued, which I don't know if you know what raku is.
I've heard it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it's just a different type of firing process. I think it's like a Japanese like style of pottery.
Okay, cool.
But when you take something out of the kiln, you basically induce like fire and smoke around the pot by usually like putting it in a like closed container with like fire and like flammable materials, and then usually you open it up and it comes out like however it decides to come out. So I basically I made like a pot And with raku, it's like you can never like predict what's gonna come out because the fire makes whatever shapes and forms that you want. So I wanted my pot to be very amorphous and like have like not like uniform shapes. So I kind of bent the pot in like different directions, and then I raku'd and fired it with this glaze called clear crackle. So it like the pot looks cracked around the outside.
Ooh.
And then yeah, I put like blue glaze like dripping down the sides of it, so it's just very like oh yeah, it was a pretty pot. So
I want to see it. If you have a picture.
yeah, I can see if I can find a picture for sure.
Do you like use any of your pots and stuff, or is it more just for decoration?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. Like I have one in my room that I use as a key holder. Some of them are like decor pieces. A lot of them are at my parents' house and they use them. They are certain glazes, like whatever the coating you put around to like make it pretty, are like food safe. So there's one that we use to hold our kitchen sponge in the kitchen. So yeah.
That's really cool. What would be your advice for someone like me who's never done pottery before if I want to try it out?
Yeah, take a class, and I feel like the environment usually is like very supportive, and so it is fun. And a lot of times wherever there's a pottery studio, usually there's like some retired like woman or man who's like an expert at pottery and who's been like, it's their passion for 60 years. And definitely like talk to those people and let them mentor you, because that's how I learned like a lot of my skills and stuff. So
did you make like friends with
other
people in pottery?
Yeah, so there was this one studio close by called Sproul Art Studio. It has a pretty big pottery studio, and there's a lot of like actual artists who go there, and that's where they make their pieces and stuff. And there's a lot of like retired individuals who hang out there, and usually they're just like there when you're like all the time. So if you're taking a class or you're just like at the wheel, like free, like spinning whatever, usually they'll like walk over and be like, oh, you should do this. And like yeah, I've definitely had a couple mentors in my past that have like helped me. So yeah.
Would you want to be that when you're older and retired?
Yeah, I guess that's like a crack dream of mine to like retire like close to a studio, and like I think that's like important for like someone who's retired to have like some sort of passion or something that makes them happy. So I could definitely see myself doing something like that when I'm older.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've heard that pottery is pretty hard. I don't know. And when I watch videos, I like people, it's like really easy to mess up or something.
Yeah.
So do you think like, does it require a lot of patience? Because I feel like that's how I perceive it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what you're doing, because there's the free form, like hand molding, whatever, and you can make anything you want, and like, I guess nothing has to be perfect. Like another part of like pottery and stuff is that like everything's organic, so like errors or like weird folds or bends are like welcomed, right? I guess depending on the piece that you want and like your personal artistic style. So like I feel like the art is very forgiving, but I do know that on the wheel, like when you're first starting out, like you have to center a piece, so make sure that it's even and the walls are even, and that's like a little difficult to learn, but once you get it, it becomes a lot easier. And like if your piece is a little uncentered, you can still throw a piece and it's fine. And what's nice is if you mess up, you're just working with a piece of mud in front of you, so you can just bunch it up and start again. And there's really no pressure involved with it. So that's something that I like about it. Like it's very, it is like maybe difficult to learn, and especially with the experts, like I'm nowhere close to that. Like they have like true like skill and stuff, but for the casual potter, I feel like it's something that's not like super hard to learn. So
How long did it take you to like feel like, okay, I feel solid in this?
I mean, it changes every day. Sometimes I'm like, wow, that's a good piece that I made. And then other days I'm like, not so sure. But I guess I'm confident enough in my skills. But I'm definitely still like just past beginner, like in the middle. Like, no, I'm not like amazingly skilled or anything yet. So.
How many pieces would you say you've made?
I have no idea because it's definitely a hobby that I've picked up and dropped off, like depending on like what I've been doing. I wouldn't even be able to like tell you how many. Not a crazy amount though, like yeah.
Okay. You mentioned like everyone has their own artistic style. What's your artistic style?
I don't know. I think it depends on the piece and like I don't think I'm at the skill level where I have like a unique like Emily style.
Yeah.
It's still more just like casual and fun and like whatever I'm feeling at the time. So I try not to stress out about like pieces being perfect though. So if there's a little tilt or a little wobble, like it's okay. Gives it character, right? So
you're not like a perfectionist?
No, not with my pottery. Yeah. I think I definitely, when I was younger, had like traits of perfectionism, and it probably still shows in like my life, but I've changed a lot since I was younger, so yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, what's something you think people wouldn't expect about you?
It's a difficult one.
Yeah. You can think about it.
Yeah. Maybe that I can speak Portuguese.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I'll go with that one.
So, are you like fluent?
I guess it depends on your definition of fluent.
Yeah.
I can communicate and have the conversations that I want to have, and like hold my own. Maybe I have an accent or I say things incorrectly or my grammar is not perfect, but I'm definitely confident in my skills to like have any conversation that I need to have.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, are you Portuguese then, or like Brazilian?
No,
or anything?
yeah. So after high school, I took a gap year between high school and college, and I studied abroad. And I did this full immersive, like year-long exchange program.
That's so cool.
Yeah, with the Rotary Youth Exchange. So it was a scholarship that I got, and yeah, I had no exposure to Brazil or. I didn't know anything about Portuguese besides that it was a language in South America. And so once I found out I was going, I started studying Portuguese with one of my Brazilian friends that I had met at school. And once I got there, I took classes. I did a year of high school in Portuguese at the local school. And I formed relationships with like friends who the relationship was solely based off, the Portuguese language. So it was a challenge to learn, but it was very rewarding because after 1 year I was able to like be confident. And I lived with a host family. And someone who really taught me a lot was my second host mom. She was born and raised in Brazil, had never left the country, and she didn't speak any English at all.
Wow.
And so we grew really close. Like I definitely see her as a mother figure.
Wow.
And she taught me a lot of the language, and I probably have an accent similar. Well, of course I have my American accent, but the Portuguese that I learned was like from her is like in Brazil known as like a sing-songy, like very vibrant like accent. It's from the Northeast because that's where she's from. So sometimes when I speak, like it's very up and down, which is like very different than how I speak in English. So
that's so cool, and that's so impressive that you were able to like really like understand the language in a year. Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect, like I'm still learning, and it's definitely been a long time since I like studied abroad there, but I think having like a Spanish background in high school like definitely helped because the languages are similar, and I had a lot of help, so yeah, it's always a work in progress, but I am confident in my skills, so.
Do you keep up with it? So, like, are you regularly using Portuguese?
Not as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
I still have my like friends that I made when I was in high school there and my host families that I talk to as regularly as I possibly can. Sometimes there's longer gaps and shorter gaps, but yeah, that's probably the primary way that I keep in contact with the language and my relationships in Brazil. But yeah.
So what made you want to do that program? Like, were you thinking of Brazil, or they just like placed you there?
Yeah, I was not thinking of Brazil at all. Like I was open to where I went. I was expecting to go to either a Spanish-speaking country or Europe somewhere or Eastern Asia. So, well, I guess that's very like, I was like not expecting anything in general, but the specific program that I went on, they match you to a country, so like you don't really have, you have preference but not a big choice to the country you went to. So yeah, I definitely did not expect to go there, but I wouldn't have gone to any other country.
Do you feel like, are you really glad that it ended up being Brazil?
Yeah, I learned a lot about the culture, and also just like I think it's very important experiencing a culture that's like different than the one that I grew up in. I think that was very valuable for, you know, my world's outlook and stuff, and I think Brazilians are super welcoming and happy, and so it was an easy transition to like live there, just because of like how welcoming the people are and friendly, and like they welcome you with open arms. So
that's awesome. So what made you want to take that gap year? Because like that isn't as common, right? And like to do a program abroad.
I definitely wanted to study abroad, but like the execution of that, like I had no idea how it would have happened. I think in Spanish class, my teacher like said something about this program, and I was like very interested. And I actually started off by applying to a similar but different program that was like just a summer, and it was a lot harder to get into, and I didn't get into it. So the next year, one of my really, really close friends in high school, who I'm still really close to today, she studied abroad with this program for a year-long program, and then I was like talking to her on that trip and when she was there, living there, and it inspired me to apply to this program. So it was very much like her inspiring me, seeing how the program, you know, changed her and like how much fun she was having. So then I applied. So yeah.
What was I gonna say? Was it hard for you to like decide to take a gap year? Because you know, like most of your peers are probably like getting ready for college and stuff, or did you not care? You're like, I want to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was super duper excited. I definitely would get a little bit of FOMO when all my friends were like preparing for college or like buying their like freshman dorm stuff, but it was really just happy feelings all around for them and for me, because I was very excited for what I was about to do. Very scared and very nervous because I had no idea what to expect, and like of course a million things can go wrong, and it was a tough year for me. Like, you know, it's the first time living like not with your family, all that sort of stuff, being independent, but like going through it and like learning like a different language and like having those experiences, like it's not something I would trade for anything. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was I gonna say? What was like were the classes you took, like were they all different subjects, or was it just like Portuguese?
Yeah, so the classes that I took was just normal high school senior year. So it was all the like regular subjects, and then it included Portuguese language, and there was also English class where that was my best subject. So I took that, and I also had the opportunity to take some college classes. I shadowed with my first host sister, and she was majoring in psychology, so I took some psychology classes. But because I had already graduated high school and like those college classes weren't necessarily counting for everything, there was not a lot of pressure. I didn't necessarily have to take exams or anything. So it was more just like the immersion, like attending classes and forming relationships with my classmates and all that sort of stuff.
What was the hardest class? Like, I feel like learning like math and Portuguese would be so confusing.
Yeah, definitely, I didn't have to like really like do like much, like in terms of like, I really didn't have to focus on exams or like the hard homeworks or anything like that. So
I wouldn't. More like the experience.
It was more the experience. Math, surprisingly, is easier because like everyone can communicate in numbers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but definitely like the physics class, like I had no idea what was happening. So sometimes I would just sit in the back or, read a book or something.
I don't even know what's happening in physics and English.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Were there other kids like you in that, or were you like the only exchange?
So from Georgia and Florida, I think there were like, I don't know, like maybe 60 kids who went out across the world. And there were maybe 3 or 4 kids who went to Brazil, but we were all spread out.
Oh, wow.
And then I met a lot of exchange students from other countries who were in my like region, but no one was in my city.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and the city I was in was like the interior of Brazil, kind of like the coffee plant, like there was a lot of coffee plantations, like coffee farms in the area, and it was like very countryside, like small university town that I went to. So, yeah.
So, you mentioned like that trip was very rewarding for you. What was like the most rewarding part of it, or like how it changed you?
Yeah, the most rewarding, again, like the relationships that the people that I met, are people that I will like even if I don't speak to them every day or like it's a conversation every now and then, those people are going to be people who I cherish and hold close to my heart, for the rest of my life. So I think the relationships that I formed, I also became really close to some of the other exchange students in the region. And so those relationships, that cultural exchange, was like awesome because I wasn't just learning about Brazil. I had like friends from other countries. And then like from a personal journey perspective, being like fresh out of high school and young and stepping out of your comfort zone and, going into like a year where there were a lot of unknowns and you had to be very flexible to like the decisions that were being made around you because you're still young, you're part of this program. Like experiencing that and being flexible and resilient is something that I think getting through the year was definitely an achievement of mine. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Are you someone who like can get out of their comfort zone easily, or like is it really hard for you?
I think it's pretty hard for me. Mm-hmm. I do like enjoy like traveling and that sort of stuff. As something that's as an example for something that's out of my comfort zone, but I definitely have like some social anxiety and things that I'm not used to doing or like I'm like new at. Like definitely I definitely have feelings of uncomfort, or if I'm entering like a new job or meeting people that I don't know, I definitely have feelings of uncomfort, and so yeah.
So would you want to do something like this again?
Yeah, I'd love to. I think living abroad is something that I would love like to experience again in my life. I think it is very rewarding because it's like difficult and like you know, living in a culture that's different from yours, from what you're used to. So I would love to do that again. I would love to go to Taiwan for an extended period of time, if the planets align.
Yeah.
Something like that would be amazing.
What would your advice be to someone who is interested in doing a study abroad like you did?
Yeah. So I think the first step is applying, and like you don't know, like you don't know if it's ever going to happen unless you like apply.
Yes.
And getting through that step is the hardest step. And then I think the biggest thing is being open-minded and like having that resilience. There's a lot of people around you who are willing to help you, and there's a lot of opportunities to have these sort of experiences without having to have a big financial investment or, you know, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice is just apply, see what happens next, take it one step at a time, and then be open-minded and flexible to the next steps. Yeah.
Gotcha. What's like the coolest or most special thing about Brazil, you would say? Like, so I've never been there, so.
Yeah. The coolest, most special thing. I guess an easy like go-to to this answer would be like the celebrations. So like New Year's is like very big in Brazil, and I did get to experience that, which was really cool. People wear white, and there's a lot of fireworks, and also Carnival, of course. That was like super fun. It is a like countrywide like celebration, and every big city has its own unique version and way to celebrate. So you could go to every city and have a completely different experience of Carnival. Of course, like Rio has like the parade and like the like I mean, that's like the most famous, like they have the people dancing and all that sort of stuff. And then other cities have like more traditional like festivals or outfits or different things that they do. So yeah.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
I would love to go. And aside from the language itself, what's the biggest thing you learned from that trip?
Yeah. I think it gave me confidence. I think and independence. I think those are like two really big things. And I think learning that like, you know, I can achieve and like overcome like hard like obstacles, like as long as I, you know, set myself up to succeed and have, you know, good support systems surrounding me, good people that I'm taking along on the journey, right? And so I think it definitely helped when I went into college, having like that in my back pocket of like, oh, I know I can do this. Like if it's hard, like I know I can do this. So I think that's, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, like you went to a whole different country after high school by yourself. You can do college.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's becoming like a very, I mean, everyone talks about study abroad and how it changes their life. So I think it's like a very good thing that I think a lot of people are having opportunities now to like study abroad, and no matter like what shape or form that like shows, like I think it's good for everybody to be a more global citizen.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. Like people always joke about how like people are like, oh, studying abroad changed my life. But I think it makes sense because like you just get so much value from living in like a new place and seeing a different culture.
Exactly. I completely agree.
Like I get so like emo about my Taiwan trip because I'm like, I don't know, it was just such like a special time. So I can imagine like being in Brazil for a year is probably like, that's just like a time you can't replace.
Yeah. I mean, it happened like 5 years ago, and I still like find excuses to talk about it. So I completely agree. Like, it's life-changing trip.
Yeah. So your mom is Taiwanese and your dad is?
Yeah, he's just American.
Okay.
My mom is from the UK, or my grandma is from the UK,
Oh,
his
cool.
mom.
Mhm.
And yeah, he grew up in Reno, Nevada. And my mom's Taiwanese. She was born in Taiwan and came over, so.
Cool. So like you have this kind of mixing pot, and like with Brazil too, I feel like that's definitely become a part of your like experience and culture. What is it like to have like kind of multiple cultures and stuff?
Yeah, I think it's very fun. Like growing up, both of my sides of my family were very different, had different traditions,
Yeah.
and celebrated events in different ways. So I think it was very interesting, like learning, growing up in a like multicultural household is like very like cool, and it teaches you to be like flexible and open-minded, and also just like watching my parents navigate like their relationship. It's like very inspiring, yeah, I think it was definitely a part of like who I am that really like shapes like how I act around people, and my interests and stuff.
So do you feel like your time in Brazil, like pieces of their culture have definitely impacted you and like
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's not like my culture, the culture I grew up in, but I mean, I definitely like took little pieces of my perspective of what I learned in their culture, because of course I don't know, like I was only there for a little bit of time, so I don't know or identify like or anything like that, but there's definitely little snippets of experiences and things that I do like to take with me along the way. So
what would be an example?
Yeah, I think I've already mentioned it, like how friendly and open-minded. Like people in Brazil are very community-based. I mean, my perception of people in Brazil, like very community-based. People have very good relationships. Everyone loves to talk and like be friendly and have a good time together. Something that I thought was really interesting is people love to just sit around a table and hang out with like no expectations for something to do. So a lot of friends just like hang out, everyone sits around the table, maybe there's a few beers or like you're snacking or whatever. But that's something that I really like, because I think culturally in the United States, like when you hang out with your friends, a lot of times when you're hanging out with your friends in the US, at least when I hang out with my friends, it's like, okay, you're hanging out and you're doing something. Like, we are gonna go to this restaurant, we're gonna like make this new food. But there's like no fear behind, just sitting around the table and like getting to know each other. So I think that's something that I think is like really admirable, something that I experienced. And of course, I know it's not throughout all of Brazil, like everybody's different, but that is something that was common that I noticed that I liked.
Do you try to get your friends to like, you're like, what if we just sat around the table? Like,
I don't know.
do you think they'd give it a try?
I mean, I guess I definitely had experiences of that, like during COVID. So the biggest COVID year, like we were in university, of course. And everyone was staying within their own, small bubble of friend groups. And so I was very fortunate to be living that year with 3 of my best friends in college. And so we did a lot of sitting around in our apartment doing nothing, because there was nothing else to do. And I think, COVID was really hard for everyone in college, but I got really lucky with like the living situation and like the situation that I was in. I formed, some bonds with like some of my best friends in college that and memories that I'll never forget. And it's because of the result of COVID that I have those like friendships and bonds. So yeah, we would sit down on the couch or around the table. We would make food like every day together, like very family vibes. So
that's awesome. I feel like sometimes you need that. You just have to like do nothing with people and speak to them to really like connect, because when you do activities you're kind of focused on that.
Exactly.
Like, it's fun too, but like quality time of just like sitting and talking, I think is really important.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
And we're getting close to the end, so I want to ask you, what era are you in right now?
The era, my Taylor Swift era is, I'm definitely in a transition period. Like I graduated college in May, and I'm learning a lot. You know, I'm managing my own money now at my new job, experiencing the 9-to-5 lifestyle of corporate America. Yeah, so it's definitely a big transition, especially, I mean, even in terms of like my schedule. Like, you know, I don't have as much control over my days because I have to go to work and all that sort of stuff. So I'm, you know, finding my new adult self. That's my era. So.
I am the same. How is it going?
It's so rough. No, I definitely, again, have a very good support system, which is something that's very important to me, but I'm definitely learning a lot right now, and yeah, it's tough, like, learning how to, like, you know, manage myself and be an adult and have adult responsibilities. So I got a long way to go.
Same. What would you say is like the hardest thing right now?
I think it is the lifestyle change, because in college I was like super active, you know, walking between classes, like working out all the time, you know, very social with my friends. But now it's like I don't have control over my day. I can't it's not my decision. Like if I'm gonna skip a class, like that was in college, that was my decision to weigh the cost benefit analysis of like, I can skip this class so I can do this that's like better, and then I can be out running errands in the middle of the day. But at work, it's like at your scheduled time, you have to work, and I get home and a lot more exhausted than I was in college. So yeah, learning how to navigate my friendships as an adult now, and like manage my schedule. Those are probably the hardest things.
I feel that's so hard. Like the schedule is so hard and you're so tired.
Yeah.
After work. It's like I don't have energy to do anything.
Exactly. So at school, everyone would go to clubs or hang out with their friends or hang out with their roommates. But now you get home and it's like, I gotta make myself dinner and meal prep for lunch the next day. Yeah. And so it's spending a lot of time with yourself and like learning those things.
What have you found anything that helps with your schedule now?
Is
there anything you're trying to do to make it better?
Something that I'm trying to do that I'm not succeeding at yet is waking up a little bit early. I want to have like good mornings, and like having that sleep schedule of making sure I get like 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night. I think, managing my sleep schedule, waking up early, so I can set myself up for a good day, I think is definitely something that I'm working towards.
Yeah, no, I feel that too. I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
So I want to like wake up extra early so I can like take it slow, but I'm like the last minute I can do
running out the door. For me, my first meeting's at 8:30 every day. I'm pulling up at work at 8:25, you know. So that comes with age though, right?
Yeah.
I hope.
I hope so too. Yeah. Do you like your era? Like, do you like this era, or are you like, this kind of sucks right now?
I like it, but it also kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for when I settle and I get accustomed to this. Like, there's a lot that's still very uncomfortable for me, and so I'm like working through that like every day. I'm not afraid to say that.
Period.
Yeah, I'm excited for the time when things settle down, and I feel like I have more comfort with like my day-to-day life and, you know, managing my adult responsibilities. So yeah.
Oh, you said that there was like a lot to learn. What's like the biggest thing you've learned so far in this period of your life?
I think that you learn that like things are constantly changing always, and you can't like predict what's gonna happen next. So like you know, it's like elementary school, middle school, high school, college, like those are all like set eras, and you can reset at every like beginning of those, and like, you know, form new habits, like have new friends and all that sort of stuff. But now it's like, okay, there's no like set like future for you, what's next. So it's like up to you to like, you know, manage your life and direct it in a direction that you want, and also like you have to be ready for anything because things can change in a second.
So do you feel like you have a good hold over your life right now? Like, you're managing things well, or are you like, I'm not in control of anything?
Yeah, I think very much the latter. Not in control of everything,
Same.
but taking it one day at a time. Yeah, there's still a lot that I have to like learn and figure out. So yeah.
What would you ask your like 33-year-old self in 10 years if you could?
What are your priorities, maybe? I think I'm learning how to take a step back and like prioritize like my life and the things that I do. Making sure that my priorities are right, because you can't do everything you want to do. So I want to see how my priorities align when I'm 33 in terms of, you know, my friendships, my relationships, how I manage my time, the job that I dedicate 40 hours of my time to, like all those sort of like decisions, like how I prioritize and like navigate. I would love to like see what I'm doing at 33.
What are your priorities right now? I'm just curious. Or are you not sure?
I'm definitely still figuring those out. I'm definitely prioritizing myself more now that I'm like older, because I know like to be able to get up, go to work and stuff, I have to like make sure that I'm like taking care of myself and like eating like properly, cooking food for myself, getting my chores done. So I am prioritizing myself and having like, you know, quiet time for myself, time to recharge, all that sort of stuff. But I definitely want to prioritize my relationships, and like I'm learning how to like navigate through like my friendships now, like my boyfriend, my family, all that sort of stuff. So
maybe pottery is like
the
answer to
pottery's
get some
my
quiet time.
Exactly. Oh my God, you're so right. Yeah.
All right, I think that's everything.